Hi, I'm Jonah Comstock, editor-in-chief of Pharma Forum. I'm here at Reuters Pharma USA in Philadelphia, and I'm joined by Phil Johnson, the Chief Commercial Officer at Evidation.
Yeah.
Are you guys Evidation or Evidation Health these
Evidation
days?
Health.
Evidation Health.
Yeah.
We spoke about a year and a half ago, a year and 3 months ago at JPM,
Yeah.
and we had a great conversation about all kinds of stuff that Evidation is focused on. But since then, you guys have gotten you've had a CEO change, a little bit of a strategy shift.
That's right.
Talk to me about kind of what Evidation is up to now, what your big focus is on.
Yeah, it's been an exciting year of change, honestly. AI, which you have to state, is a real thing for us. It's not a general thing. So we have found that the big five AI labs are looking for wearable and patient data to train their algorithms at scale. So we're having a lot of very interesting conversations with the big five around how do we generate data that is patient centric, patient pharma engagement data as well. Sorry, patient physician engagement data as well, to optimize our algorithms. So there's a lot in that space that is totally new and not what we were doing a year ago, which is really exciting. And then we have expanded our work in obesity pretty significantly. It is continued to explode, and it's only going to get larger. And so the need for data around patients who do cash pay for GLP-1s, data on microdosing for GLP-1s, data on compounding, and then literally every company is asking us to do research on adherence and discontinuations for GLP-1s, from small biotechs to the largest of the large. So
Yeah.
it's been there's a lot going on.
That makes so much sense,
Yeah,
because it really it's a market that exploded into being from nothing. And
that's right.
because of the supply and demand trends, it has a lot of areas that are probably blind spots for traditional data monitoring. And
That's right.
you talked about the compounding, the gray markets,
Yeah.
you know, so it does seem like Evidation would be in a unique position to try to sort of deliver that data. But dig into that for me. How does your platform put you in that spot to give people the answers that they're not able to find other places?
Yeah, so I mean, everyone who's cash pay, that data is not in EHR, not in claims data. So there's literally no place to get it. So that has kind of helped us be kind of Grand Central Station for finding that data. But more importantly, these pharma companies really want to understand, why do patients discontinue? And is there something that they can do to help extend their runway on a particular therapeutic? It's actually good for patients too, I have to admit. The data says that when patients stop taking cold turkey GLP-1s, the mental health benefits, the weight loss benefits, the cardiovascular benefits, all fade away fairly quickly, actually. It's not long over time. And so it's in the best bit of benefit for the patients to figure out how do they stay on these drugs longer, even if you change the dosage. It's in the best benefit for the pharma company for obvious reasons that they stay on their drug longer. But why do they discontinue, and what kind of intervention can they have in that key moment to extend that time period? One of the final things that I found really interesting is that pharma companies have to partner with tech companies now. There's no pathway forward. They have to do it because pharma companies do not have a direct connection to patients. And so, whether it's Noom or Hims and Hers or Roe or whoever, you see all these court cases against them, but they need them because Roe or Hims and Hers knows at that 8-month mark when that patient's about to discontinue their GLP-1 and can provide patient support group, can provide education, can provide dosage information. Novo and Lilly can't do that. They don't have that direct connection. And so there's a lot of discussion around which digital weight management solution should be my partner in my go to market so that we can basically intervene at key moments for the patient. So it's a lot of really interesting discussions right now.
I want to talk about this question of why patients, are discontinuing,
Yeah,
because that feels like a really old conversation, right? Because even before we had GLP-1s, anything that's ever worked for weight loss has had that problem, right?
that's right.
Where you can take the weight off, but can you keep it off?
That's right.
So in a sense, this is not new. I mean, patients are like, oh, now I'm cured, I can stop.
That's right. That's right. Other than bariatric surgery, there was no other procedure or thing you could do to keep the weight off. It is not a new problem. You are correct. The reasons do vary. So you look at different types of target patient profiles. Some folks reach their weight goal and discontinue, which is sounds counterintuitive, but that's a very bad thing to do.
Yeah.
You cannot change your biology by stopping medication. So that's a big deal. Access is a huge deal for based on pricing, based on some folks lose weight and then their insurance company no longer covers the GLP-1.
Mm.
And that's where these compounding pharmacies are basically getting to tell the government we need to exist because we're helping with access. I think that problem will go away over the next 2 or 3 years as more GLP-1s are approved and there's more selection. It will drive their cost down. But for the next 2 or 3 years, compounding will exist. And that access problem is a huge reason why there's this continuation. They're doing a lot of studying around side effects. They want because there is some control they can have over limiting side effects, and that is in the top 3 reasons why people discontinue. And so it's also one of the main reasons why most patients start to microdose, which is lowering their dosage of their medication based on their own decision. I think it's about 70% of people decide to microdose without consulting a physician.
And that's something that hasn't really even been studied, right? I mean,
It hasn't been studied at all. We are studying it actually as we speak, because you have to get patients to tell you how they're microdosing, and they're doing it based on, gosh, with 60% of folks got their primary information from social media.
mhm.
Not advisable, but that is the world we're in. And so we're studying the effects of microdosing on side effects, on weight loss, on mental and emotional health. And you're seeing that the discontinuation and microdosing are very closely aligned. So that's why they're coming to us trying to figure that out.
That is, yeah, this is super fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I asked.
There. Well, it also impacts their delivery mechanism. So there are a lot of biotechs and pharma companies who are considering doing an injectable pen, which you can't microdose.
Hmm,
There's positives and negatives to that. If you can't microdose, then patients may not want to use your drug just from the delivery mechanism.
yeah,
If you do a vial, then they will be able to microdose, but you might not be able to sell as much of your drug. So it's this dance that all of these companies are trying to figure out now, which is what's the delivery mechanism of our drug that works well for patients? So really interesting stuff.
yeah. I mean, it also comes down to like how we think about obesity as a disease, right?
That's right.
I mean, is the weight the disease, or is the weight just the symptom of a metabolic disorder that causes you to gain more weight than you should, right?
I mean, I think it's pretty clear in the data that obesity is a disease. Um, Now, like you said, are there other inflammatory or cardiovascular immunological drivers of the disease? Possibly. It's certainly true in some instances, but I'm not sure there is a one size fits all.
Yeah.
Um,
But this notion that the insurance companies will stop paying if your weight goes down, I mean, the weight's not the disease, right?
exactly.
That's a symptom, and now it's been
Exactly.
controlled, but you still have the disease.
Correct. But if the pharma companies get all their approvals based on BMIs, then the insurance companies they don't get to say, well, actually, I'm going to look at your cardiovascular health versus the BMI, right? That's the rules they were given, so they have to follow it, unfortunately.
We could talk about GLP-1s all day, but
We
I know
could.
that's not all that you do.
That's correct.
In terms of evidation in your business model, and your relationships with patients, and building your different apps and modules, and has anything changed about that, or how is that going these days?
Yeah, probably. I could have led with this. Probably the biggest change we made in the last year is that we are now collecting EHR data, which is critically important in the world of AI. So we believe that the best way to improve health is early detection, detecting an early disease onset. So if you can combine wearable data with patient-reported outcomes, and now you're adding EHR, which is a ground truth on their true health conditions, and it really transforms our anomaly detection, our early disease onset detection. And so we are squarely in the AI world, but we're doing it directly for patients. And I think that the thing that's different for us is, I mean, everyone's releasing some kind of personalized healthcare algorithm. I mean, yesterday, Verily and Samsung released something. Amazon released something last week. Microsoft released something 2 weeks ago. They're all health AI individualized ability to upload your EHR and get some insight. The difference is we are proactive. So in all of those instances, you have to upload it and ask a question, and you can get back an answer. For us, we're really focused on our AI agents to be proactive, looking at your EHR data combined with all of your wearable data, your heart rate, your sleep, your steps, combined with your patient-reported outcomes, and then going, hey, Jonah, in the last month, X, Y, and Z has happened for you. This is something you should take a look at. Rather than you having to go, I don't feel well over the last month. Let me ask the LLM a question. And so we're doing a lot of work in that, and that's our pathway into AI and personalized medicine.
That's really awesome stuff. I always enjoy chatting with you, Phil. It
Yes.
seems like Evidation, there's always something exciting happening.
Always. Thanks so
Well,
much, Jonah.
yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.